Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Dropping Jewels podcast as I am on YouTube as well as on all the listening major platforms. I thank those who have recently subscribed. Also, I appreciate those who have been on my guest in the past. And I always welcome anyone who's interested in being a guest on any topic, definitely reach out to me. I am on the social media platforms Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And then, of course, I'm on all listening major platforms. So, my podcast is always talking about things that are happening every day in life. And some things are topics that we do not want to discuss, but it's definitely a good conversation piece. And so, with this topic, let's go ahead and talk about the balancing of work life balance. How can we achieve it? And if that's even possible, right? There's so many challenges in that aspect of work life balance. With this crazy world, is it possible? I think what's interesting, we talk about statistics, and, so many people struggle to achieve just that balance. So let's go ahead and just look into statistically what it's about. So, 60% individuals, and this is in 2024, right? So this is like April 2024. Um, excellent, they have excellent work life balance. They're not concerned about anything. But the 70% is the concern for me because they're burnt out at their current job and their current state, right? So let's go ahead and look deep into that to see how can we, what challenges come about and why. So, first of all, some challenges would be you're spending work and time mostly, and you're not devoting it to your personal life. And then there's so many ins and outs of remote work. It's not always peaches and cream. Remote work, from experience, I feel like that's kind of like the most challenging type of employment, only because you do not have the right individuals of contact that's near you, like human resources, payroll, right? Those two things are very important. And so sometimes you work from home where you're not able to reach those people because it's email. You're not working outside the home where you could just walk down the hallway to HR or just go and find a location of the human resource department. And you also, have individuals that work from home that really, that's probably like their best bet is to work from home because personality, character, micromanagement, taking their job a little bit too seriously, yep, that can be very challenging. And also, creating an unhealthy work life balance can definitely take toll on your health. Like, sometimes we take for granted when you work from home, you have these lunch breaks, or you don't work from home, you work outside the home and you have these lunch breaks. Those 30-minute lunch breaks, those 15-minute breaks go by so fast that sometimes some people they don't eat. Why? Why would you go ahead? You're going to go to a restaurant, 15 minutes maybe away from your job. You only have 30 minutes. Now you have 15 minutes to eat, but then you have 5 minutes after you get back to your job to walk to wherever you need to walk to. You have just sat around and become unhealthy. It's just hard to really get to that point of staying on the right task. So, what I would like to discuss is just challenges and, ways and just various strategies and tips in regards to trying to create that work life balance, right? So, let's go ahead and dig right into it. So, get your pencil, paper out because I like to feel like I'm dropping these jewels for you guys. I want you able to Become a healthier you, better version of you. Do what you can to create growth. So here's some strategies on work-life balance. This is very important, so write it down. Plan ahead to combine work activities with leisure, social, or fitness activities. So, for instance, just say if your child has a soccer game, then what you can do, or not just so much a soccer game, but like maybe soccer practice. The good thing you can do is maybe walk around, to be able to go ahead and get your fitness activities in, especially if it's a nice day. Or if you're sitting at a game, socialize with the people that surround you because the commonality is your kids in the game. Also, maybe read a book or something like that while you wait until your kid finishes their activity. So it is always good to make sure you plan ahead. If you know that in 2 weeks there's a game, make sure you take that, put things in perspective so that it could be easy flow for yourself. Embrace the way your brain works, right? So our brains are powerful, right? If we would like to do something and we forget or we have it on a calendar, that's our brain working, right? So if we're in a situation where we're trying to figure out how can we balance your work life, create a scenario that would allow you to do that. So maybe in your mind at a certain time, stop working at a certain time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this and create a routine for it. Because once you create a routine for it, that's how your brain works. Set blocks of time for different tasks. That's important. If you know you have to pick up a kid or pick up your children at a certain time, or you have an event that you have to go to, a meeting, create those blocks because that'll help you balance everything. If you just put it down and say, okay, I'll get back to it, or just put it on a piece of paper, you really don't have any way of differentiating the task. In your work at a certain time, that goes back to your brain works. In your work at a certain time, you know, 5 o'clock, you in work at 5, you in work at 5. And the only time is maybe a little couple of minutes after 5 is because you're shutting down your computer, you collecting things right before you clock out, all those things. But as far as like unplugging everything, using technology to help you unplug it. If you have papers that you have to, gather, put in a folder and, leave it in the office until you get back the next day. So just unplug everything because unplugging everything would allow you to be able to channel on other things that will go back to the importance of leisure, social, or fitness. Let's talk about strategies living healthy. I think the most important thing is let's not forget that we're here in the physical sense doing things, but we also have to make sure that our health is pretty good. So eating whole foods instead of processed foods, that is so important, right? So our whole foods would be like vegetables and fruit and rice and anything like that. Our processed foods, oh my goodness, like anything that's in cans, right? Anything that's frozen vegetables, we try to want to make sure things are fresh. We want to make sure things are fresh. Now, if we did process foods, we want to make sure they're healthy, right? So we don't want to just get stuff like I don't know, cream, applesauce, like just baked potato, like those things that are processed, right? Um, we just want to make sure we're healthy and eating mindfully and thoughtfully. It's important that when you intake stuff, sometimes, just imagine if you're eating a lot of food, right? And then what happens after that? You're tired. Your mind is out of it. You don't want to finish work. You better go home, lay in the bed, okay? But you know that you have to work, but in your mind, your thoughts are not about work. So just make sure you eat healthy, but in a moderate way, because you know that work is not a time for a buffet. Okay, like during lunch. It's not a time for a buffet. It's a time just to, calm your stomach for a little bit so you can get in the mindset of, okay, let me go ahead and move forward and think healthier. So when I get home, then that's where I can go ahead and eat my meal. Avoiding substance abuse, that is so important. Just making sure that whatever you intake, sometimes it can cause an alter your decision and your thought process. Being physically active is so important. I mean, you don't have to necessarily exercise, but you can go ahead and walk around the block, ride a bike, drive your car to the park and walk around casually. Getting adequate sleep, that is really, really important as well, because just imagine you don't get the necessary resting time, that the next day you may feel all refreshed, but I guarantee you 4 hours into the 4 hours of work, you're going to be like, I am tired. My eyes are heavy, because now you're at a point where you're trying to make up the time that you lost because you didn't get the adequate sleep. So, guys, I hope that I was able to go ahead and, give you those strategies and tips in regards to work life balance and just a successful approach that can lead to a healthier lifestyle. It is important that we find what works for us, because, everybody's different. So we want to just look at those strategies and tips to help you individually. And I encourage all you guys to listen, share your own experiences as the comments, because I would love to hear your feedback. And don't forget, listen to all my podcasts that I have on all listening major platforms, as well as subscribe, as with press the notification bell, like all those good things, because I want to be able to continue creating content to help everyone in the process and in this journey called life. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, bye bye.